Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Stephanie and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about all kinds of crafty things that I'm working on. And I have a whole list because today's video is going to be everything that I have worked on and finished in 2025. And then there is a couple things that I currently have as whips and we're going to talk about those too. We're going to start with cross stitching. So first thing we're going to talk about is the teacup cat. And this is a pattern that I bought off of Etsy. It was really quick. I think it was only like a handful of colors. It wasn't very many, but it stitched up really quick. I stitched it on hand-dyed Aida fabric that I dyed myself. And I thought that turned out really cute. So I really like that one. That one is done and framed and on my wall. I have a believe sign that is like rainbow colors, and that is one of my patterns. It is on my Etsy page, and also FYI, all of the patterns that I talk about will all be down below in the description. That is just, it's just believe written out, and then it has like rainbow to make it look like 3D. I thought that was kind of like a cool effect when I made it. I really liked that one. I had an interesting time finding a frame for this one, but I actually found that at Hobby Lobby. That one is done framed on the wall. Another one is the home is where the U.S. Army sends us. So that is also one of my patterns and it's available on my Etsy page. And it's not very big, so it stitches up really quick. And I just thought it was a perfect project because I eventually want to put home is where the U.S. Army sends us in the middle and then all the states where we lived around it. That is framed and on the wall. Another little pattern that I made, and it is like mini. It is in a 4-inch hoop, is the two cats. And that is like a super quick stitch that you can get done in a day. It's on Aida fabric that I hand dyed myself, and I enjoyed just having a super easy, mindless project to work on with that. The last one that is finished, it is finished, but it is not framed yet. I need to get a frame for it. I'm looking for something really specific, and it's kind of been hard to find in stores, but I want a square wooden cross-stitch frame. I just haven't found one that I like yet that will go with this particular project. And it is sampler number 3. It's also one of my patterns on my Etsy page. I did this with a variegated DMC thread 4210. It just needs framed and then it's going to go on the wall. Cross stitch whips. Let's talk about whips. The first one I want to talk about is one that says Bubba Pen with a dinosaur on it. And I originally made it because I wanted to put it above my son's playpen, but he has since grown out of his playpen. We don't even have it up anymore. So I think I eventually want to put it in his bedroom whenever I get it finished. And that is what it is looking like. The green blob basically is going to be a dinosaur. That is the one that I'm working on. And when it comes to some of these patterns, so the home is where the U.S. Army sends us, the sampler pattern, that kind of stuff. These are all patterns that I have started and I just put away and stopped working on. So what I'm trying to do is get all of my cross stitch patterns that are small-ish. I'm trying to get those done so I can feel better about starting new projects. And then moving on, the next one is going to be the cross stitch temperature tree for 2025. I know I've talked about this pattern before, but I'm really enjoying this cross stitch temperature tree. It's cool to see all the colors changing and whatnot. This is my first time doing a temperature chart cross stitch pattern. And I really liked this one. I wanted to do 2025 because this was the year that I turned 30. So I thought it'd be cool to start my 30s with a cool cross stitch project and be able to see what the weather was like during that year. This isn't in the pattern, but I do want to add 2025 and then where we're living right now in Georgia. I want to put that somewhere on it just so I know, okay, in 2025 we were living in Georgia and this is what the temperature was. So that's the plan for that one. The last cross stitch project and whip that I want to talk about is the Extraordinary Birds Stitch Along. And I am way behind on this project. I am still working on the very first part that she released, which is the bird cage. So I guess I just didn't realize from the pictures exactly how big this project was going to be. I'm doing it on 14 count hand dyed Aida that I dyed myself as well. And it's just taking a long time, but I'm almost done with the bird cage so that I can start on all of the other birds, which are obviously smaller than the entire bird cage, but I am pretty far behind. She's already released like 4 or 5 of the birds, but I'm catching up. I'm taking my time. When it comes to projects, especially cross stitch, I don't like to wear myself out on a certain project. I think that's why I have so many whips, is because I don't want to get tired out of a project and then not want to work on it anymore. That is all of my cross stitch stuff. So next we'll talk about crochet, and this is everything that I have crocheted in 2025 so far. So I have done a crochet market bag, and then I also made some couch cushion covers for my cousin. She wanted kind of like a beachy theme, and I thought that this yarn was perfect. It's cotton yarn from Hobby Lobby, and it turned out really, really cute. And this pattern, I actually did just a blanket pattern from Betty McKnits. I believe it's the 6-day kid blanket pattern, but I'll find it and tag it down below. But I just made like a smaller version of it to cover her couch cushions, and I thought that turned out really cute. I've also made some binky holders, and I really like these because for some reason, like, binky holders are expensive, and I'm like, I could just buy the clips and make them myself for my son. So that is what I did, and they turned out really cute. They're super durable, and we used to use them all the time. My son doesn't really use a binky anymore, but when he was smaller, we used them all the time. Since the start of 2025, I have finished crochet blankets. So I am going to show a montage of all of those blankets, and then I'll meet you back here after. And then finally, when it comes to these blankets, I have one work in progress blanket that I am crocheting. And it is out of the Karen Jumbo Ombre yarn. And this is what it is looking like. I am just doing a simple chevron double crochet pattern. One more thing in the crochet category is the stash shrinking blanket. And I know I've talked a little bit about this before too, but it is just a blanket of a montage of different scrap yarn for this blanket, and it is so that the little balls of yarn that I have left over when I finish a project don't go to waste, because I just put them in a little basket up in my craft room and then I forget about them. And I started this pattern all the way back in December of 2022, so I could not throw these little balls of yarn away. I want to use them. So this is the blanket, and it is really big, it's really heavy, and it is going to be a perfect warm blanket. And it is all kinds of different colors. There's no rhyme or reason to me choosing all of these colors, but it kind of works. The randomness kind of works, in my opinion. So that is what that one is looking like. All right, let's get into knitting. So knitting, first thing is 2 pairs of socks that I have finished. And the first one is this one. And then the second one is this one. And then as of today, I have a work in progress pair of socks that I am almost finished with, and I am currently decreasing on the toe. So these are almost a finish, but I am still counting them as a work in progress. And that is what those ones look like. Also, still in the knitting category, I have knit 2 blankets, and I will show pictures of them. Both of these blankets were pretty easy knits. I will tag both of the patterns down below. They were super easy to knit up, and I really enjoyed making both of these knit blankets. Knitting gives me a little bit of a break from crochet. Crochet is a little bit harder on my wrists. I enjoyed making both of those knit blankets. Final thing, it's kind of a new thing that I'm doing, is I have been messing around with Legos. So Legos have been all over my For You page on TikTok lately, and I just thought, you know what? I want to take a break from all of my other crafting stuff. Let's just take a break, do a reset, and I went out and I bought a Lego set. And the first one that I bought was these ones. It is 2 sunflowers. Really, really easy. I built these in less than an hour, actually, because they were just such an easy build. And then I decided I wanted to do a little bit of a bigger flower project. So I got the chrysanthemum, and it actually comes with a vase. It's like built into the pattern, which was really cool. Also probably finished that one in like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. I don't know how long it took me, but it was fairly quick because it was so much fun. I was so concentrated on it. But the last one that I got and finished was these cherry blossoms. And these were a little bit more difficult for me because when it came to the sunflowers and the chrysanthemum, there was more like bigger pieces, and I have like big hands. So when it came to the cherry blossoms, there was a lot of teeny tiny pieces that you had to put in like tiny little spots, and it was a lot of like finagling and, you know. So I didn't quite enjoy that one as much as the sunflower and the chrysanthemum, but they're really pretty. So I'm glad that I did them because they're really cute. But that is the 3 Legos that I have built. And future plans for Legos. I know my husband really wants to do like a build together, so I thought that would be cool. Ones that I have seen and that caught my eye, obviously the Harry Potter castle. That is a huge Lego set, but it is beautiful. So maybe one day, but that's the first one on my list. The second one on my list is the Milky Way galaxy. And it is basically like, it looks like a portrait in a picture frame. So it's so cool. I'll post pictures while I'm talking about these two, but Milky Way galaxy is so cool. And I've seen other people build it. All the little different pieces that they use to give it texture and stuff when they zoom in on it. It's too cool. So that one is also on my list. It is also quite expensive. So we're definitely going to have to save up for these because Legos are a very expensive hobby. Who knows when we'll get to those, but I think I'm going to start small for now when it comes to Legos, but I have really been enjoying the botanical themed ones for now. That is all of the crafty stuff that I have worked on so far in 2025. We are already halfway through 2025, which is crazy. It is almost July. So I can't wait to see what else I work on for the rest of this year. And we have a lot of stuff happening in our life. This summer, my husband is going to be getting a opening for his job marketplace. So we will be able to look and see where he's going to have job opportunities at and see if we're going to stay here in Georgia, if there's an opportunity for that, or if we are going to move. So that will be this summer. We will do that. And then obviously, if you know, it takes a few months till you find out where the Army is sending you. So basically the Army sends you a list of places that my husband could go with what rank he is. So we'll get that list this summer, and then hopefully we'll find out where we're going before Christmas. So we'll see about that. My son is over a year and a half old now, which is crazy. And he is doing super well. He's so tall. People are like, oh my God, how old is he? 2.5? I'm like, no, he's 1.5. And because he's so tall, he's doing really, really good. And we're just enjoying the summer down here so far in Georgia, and lots of stuff is about to be happening. So I will keep you guys updated on all of my crafting adventures, crafting stuff that I'm working on. I've been posting a lot more short videos and not this long form content recently. I just don't get as many views on the long form content. So I've been doing a lot more shorts, doing a little bit better on those, but that is all I have for you guys. And I would really appreciate it if you did the YouTube things right here. So liking the video and commenting on the video. Let me know what crafty thing you're working on. Also, subscribing to the channel is totally free and it will send you updates every time I upload a video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you stayed this long in the video, thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.